Hey everybody, this is Amanda Davis, owner and founder of Business Solutions by Design, your accounting ally. Coming back to you this April talking about all things documents and information. So if we're talking about any kind of digital record keeping, we're obviously the first conversation we have to have is about security. So when it comes to securing your financial documents, there's a lot of things that you can do. Some things you probably haven't considered, and there's some other things you can think about. So as a small business, it may or may not make sense, but you actually can get cybersecurity insurance. So if you're concerned that you're at risk for getting hacked cyberly. So if you're in the medical industry, you have HIPAA issues, that might be something worth spending the money and having a conversation with your insurance provider and seeing what you can do in that regard, so that if you do get hacked, you do have insurance to help you with those costs that happen after that happens. So cybersecurity insurance actually is a thing. Unfortunately, it actually is needed nowadays. So that's something to think about. But for the small business, the startups, all that good stuff, small nonprofits, that kind of thing, it may be a little bit overkill, so don't get too crazy about that, but it could be something to look into. Then you got your standard firewalls and antiviral, anti-ransomware, like you name it, it's out there. People are doing some crazy things. I got a call the other day. This is funny. I got a call the other day and it was from Social Security and they hung up. And so I called them back and it wasn't from Social Security. Let's just be real. And so I called the guy back, and after I got hung up like twice, so I called him back legitimately 3 times. Like, if you're trying to scam my money, stop wasting my time. I'm trying to get a hold of you. So I called him back and I finally get somebody to talk to me, and they're like, oh, what's your name? And I gave it to him. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, you know, life is good. And they're like, well, what's your Social Security number? And I was like, huh. And they're like, yeah, you know, the reason we called you is your Social Security number was compromised and it's going to be disconnected. And we need to have your information so that we can restore your Social Security number. And I was like, how does that work? Like, well, we need your Social Security number and we can get into it. I was like, don't you have it? And so, you know, it really didn't go anywhere. And I was like, I've never heard of this. Like, how do you disconnect Social Security? It's a scam, people. Don't believe them. It's wrong. Social Security is not staffed enough to be calling you, and there's legitimately no way they can disconnect your Social Security number. It can be compromised. It can't be disconnected. Well, I guess technically you could. There's a way where you can like lock it down so that nobody can create new credit unless you unlock it. So that's something you can do with personal credit. There's also business credit options. There's so many different ways. So if you have the identity stolen, you can go through Legal Shield. There's I'm trying to think of all the other options. So there's so many different ways that you can go and protect your business for security breaches, that kind of thing. But the best thing to do is just have safe practices. So if you're out traveling, or if you're at your local coffee shop, you know, you see a lot of people just on their laptops working. They're connected to the internet and just la-di-da-di-da, just working away. And if there's free internet, then anybody can be on it. And if anybody can be on it, then they're on the same network you're on, and there's stuff that they can do. So if you're me and you're a little bit paranoid, which I think in today's data breaches and all of these criminals trying to steal your identity, and there's so many different ways. Criminals are way more creative than you, by the way. So just don't give it away. You know, if they're gonna steal it, they need to work for it. So don't connect to just regular unsecure networks. Don't go to your local coffee shop and be like, oh, you know, there's free internet. Cool. You know, yeah, that's, yeah, somebody else is thinking, that's really cool. You know, the criminal wants you to connect to those things. So, and emails, like I'm getting emails as an accountant saying, oh, here's your W-2, open this document, go to this link, and, or here's your 1099, you know, or here's a past due invoice, you must pay now, click this link from a company. I have no idea who they are. None of my customers do business out of the country, so probably not somebody you do business with. So be careful think before you click. FOMO is not real when it comes to cybersecurity. Fear of missing out. You need to pause because that can get you in trouble. Another fun one that I got an email from myself. And I extorted myself because apparently I had visited a pornographic website. And had I have not paid the ransom of just under $700, all of my contacts were gonna get videos of me watching this pornographic website that I actually never visited from an email that came from myself. Sent in Bitcoin, by the way. So if there's not like 5,000 flags associated with it, by the way, if you got an email of that from me, I'd love to see it. So just think before you do stuff. Another thing that people do is send secure documents through the mail or secure information. And it's just, it makes me cringe. We get people's credit card data, bank account information, lots of social security numbers, lots of stuff, even login credentials in some cases. And people are just, oh, let me just email that to you. Like your email can't get hacked, my email can't get hacked. Whew, taking a deep breath here, because at the end of the day, you can't send secure information over an unsecure platform and think it's just gonna be all right. So the next time somebody asks you for information, especially somebody like me that you're like, hey, I know her, she's legit, we're just gonna send this, you're literally just opening yourself up for cybersecurity. So if you're gonna send something via email that's unsecure, secure the document, create a password, text it, send it in a different email, send it in a different text, send it, I don't know, send a smoke signal, whatever, but don't just give away all of the information and make it so much easier for the people that can easily access that information. So if you don't know how to do that, then send it over, upload it to, you know, Google Docs, or upload it to a secure web portal or whatever, or ask the person, hey, is there a secure way of sending this? Because you don't want to send secure data over an unsecure platform. So I hope that gives you some things to think about, not to hopefully scare you too much, but there are a lot of people who are very creative and highly tech savvy that are willing to steal your information, and they're banking on the fact that you're concerned, you're fearful, and that you think you have to act now. You don't. Think before you click. And if you don't know, ask me. We're here to help. We are not cybersecurity experts, but we have seen quite a few things, and we're happy to help you where we can. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. This is Amanda Davis, owner and founder of Business Solutions by Design, your accounting ally. Coming back to you next week.